Morning. My name's Neil Fowkes. I'm the coaching officer for London Football Association. I've been working with George and with Veo to bring this to life and to discuss the variety of uses that Veo has and with the partnership that you met with Aquila. Did you want to advise quickly, George, just what Veo is and what the usage of it is, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks everyone for joining. Again, I think lots of people who work in grassroots football and football more generally are probably aware of Veo. I think lots of people have seen the green triangle up on a tripod by the side of a pitch quite regularly. But what we is an AI-driven technology, an unmanned camera that allows coaches and players to rewatch football and obviously develop their game. In its simplest form, we are a recording solution. We started back in 2015. We now operate in over 90 countries and have millions of users around the world. And our technology has developed very much into quite a high-level analytics, sort of player-driven technology now. So we now offer in-depth stats, things like possession, shot maps, but also offer individualized player following and performance metrics. And I think moving forward, what we're looking to do along with London FA is sort of work towards the goal, which is making sports technology more accessible for all. So again, what we do with our partnership is educational events like these to try and help people understand what the real life effect is of our technology, and also making sure that it can be as accessible for each of your clubs and all of your club communities. We were founded after our founder missed the goal. His son scored a goal in a game that he wasn't able to get to, and he had the light bulb moment to realise that actually what he wanted was every game around the world to be able to be filmed to allow people to make sure they didn't miss those moments, and that's what we're trying to work towards. Yeah, just a bit of a brief introduction into what we do.
Thank you, George. And Aquila, did you want to discuss briefly how the partnership with Veo and London Football Association came about, please?
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you, Neil. So yes, I'm Aquila Burgess, head of partnerships at London FA. So we've been working with Veo for a number of years now, and all of our clubs and network can basically get access to a Veo software. There is a link within our website, which we'll obviously include in the recording, and essentially they get a £200 discount on the camera. And it allows them to have access to the software. Veo have got lots of handy guides that are able to get you and anyone that you're working with within your club using the platform. And we're going to have some promotions across the season, in particular around Black Friday, which is always really a good opportunity for clubs to get access to that at a more discounted rate. But for us, we're really keen to support clubs to make sure that they can get the resources that they need. And Veo is a great, software, and it gives the platform a really good opportunity for you to do some analysis on and off the pitch. We use it for some of our cup finals, and I know Josh and Neil will kind of come on to some of the work that they do around coaching and refereeing, respectively.
Thank you, Aquila. And just quickly, George, can you just explain how a club or a county FA or a stakeholder would obtain a license for Veo, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two ways in which you can do it. You can either go straight through our website. Again, those links are available through London FA and through us. Or you can just book a support call, book a sales call directly with our team to sort of explore the different options. So how a Veo works, you have the hardware, which is the camera itself, alongside a tripod, and then you have a subscription alongside this, which allows you to record your matches. We think about it like an iPhone. So as if you got an iPhone and the contract alongside it, you have the phone itself, and then also you get your contract, which gives you your minutes, your text messages, your internet usage. There's different levels of the package. So again, depending on what size your club is or what your requirements are, you can sort of tailor what you need. So again, Aquila mentioned it then, you have your analytics package, you have sort of different levels towards what you want to do. So if you're potentially a club higher up the steps, higher up the pyramid, and you really sort of value that analytical side of the game, and you want to really break down your performances, you're able to sort of use that. But we also offer our more basic packages, which sort of are just the recording of your matches, the sort of automatic clipping of goals and highlights. So there is very much variety, in all of which are available through London FA, and they're available on our website or through booking a sales call with our team.
Excellent. Thank you, George. Thank you, Aquila. So I'll move on to Josh. I'll ask you a few questions, if I may. You want to introduce yourself and your role firstly, please?
Yeah, so my name's Josh Reed. I work in the referee development team at London FA, and also a referee myself within the National League system.
Okay, thank you. And when did you see video analysis become prominent in your role, or how often do you use it?
Well, I think most of the time for us as an organisation within refereeing, we use it all the time for our CPD. We always need clips. People don't often sort of consider the fact that referees actually want to be able to watch stuff back, need to see stuff again. But it's becoming more and more common now that referees are requesting footage off clubs. You're going on YouTube, you're checking stuff. So we're using countless clips every single month for our monthly CPD. And it's just about having some sort of bank of clips or some place where our referees can find clips, or we can just point them in the direction to go, here is some easy clips to go see, to watch back and analyse for themselves and peers.
Thank you, Josh. How important do you think the video analysis is for grassroots football?
Very much so. I think in the sense that it's about the grassroots football, it being obviously grassroots, relatively amateur in some cases. So it's not always just being able to properly pick apart a game and go, you should have done this, you should have done that. Some teams, some clubs, whatever, do just want to be able to see a goal back. And that is still sort of analysis rather than at the top level, you picking apart a game. But it just shows that throughout grassroots football, throughout football as a whole, the use of analysis is important, depending on like the level you use it at. And yeah.
Thank you. And do you have any specifically where Veo has supported you in your day-to-day activity or the job?
Yeah, so I mean, we've had the camera a few months now, I think. And I was on Quill's back as soon as it got in the office. When can I take the camera out? And it just so happened I was going out to see a referee I coached that weekend. So I brought it out and stuck it up, filmed the game, connected my phone, whatever. And then next day I've downloaded it all up and I was able to send him the whole link to it. He's gone through, watched all 90 minutes back, made notes, made this. And then we actually used the footage from that for our recent CPD and just showed it to 50 odd refs who then watched certain things back, went through it with him, asked him questions based on it. So I'm hoping that we can do that a bit more going forward, because I think it worked quite nicely rather than just using a generic YouTube of some teams we don't know, some ref we don't know. It's quite nice to have that sort of personal touch, someone within our network.
So would you say that since you started as a referee to now, you can see the evolution of what is available as a resource?
Yeah.
And how does this help not only you, but then it helps the younger referees that you're trying to mentor and train?
I think it adds a bit more of a structured sort of professional feel to it. I think it shows them that there's there are resources there for them to improve, for them to use. And as you say, I mean, since I started 7 years ago, and you're lucky to be able to see a penalty decision back, I'm now able to watch the entirety of a game through, go, oh, I should have ran there, which is just like the difference between then and now is just, yeah, as you say, very different.
Okay. Where do you see this going in the future? Because the courses themselves get changed, but obviously as video analysis becomes more prevalent and Veo's technology, where do you see this going?
I think, I mean, referee courses are becoming more and more popular, and look, there's nothing decided yet, but it could be that we start to use Veo clips within courses. We start to, if we're going to stick it up at all our cup finals, you go, these are all these London officials doing this game and that game. Have a look at this. Would you like to be there? So it's something you can really use to entice sort of a new generation through, I think.
Thank you. And just you mentioned on just the cup finals, and
yeah,
obviously when George mentioned the inception of Veo and the reason for it, you record the London FA Cup finals then using Veo. How important do you think that is to capture those days?
Oh yeah, very. I mean, there's 34 cup finals ranging under 12s up to the professional teams, and for every single one of them, you do have to remember it is a cup final. Like for them, it could be the biggest game they play in, so they want to be able to see it back and sort of relive it. And I know from our perspective, well, I know social media, Quills and Shannon, they want to be able to post some of the clips back. Look at this goal, look at that sort of. So it really helps us sort of publicise the cup finals to a much wider market.
Thank you, Josh. And Quida, just to bring you in on that point, is that the evolution that you've seen using the Veo technology of how you can share broadly not only what Veo can do and the amount of cup finals that we have, but to share those moments that the London FA are part of?
I think it's massive, and as Josh kind of alluded to it, and so did George at the start, where Veo's inception was because someone had missed the goal and they wanted to get that on camera. So that was the reason why Veo was set up. And I think for us, as kind of Josh mentioned, the London Cups are essentially our flagship grassroots competitions across the season. And if we can get those publicised and get those clips and people sharing those moments and those stories, is really helpful for us. It's a great way of being involved in the day. Sometimes you don't have to be at the game, excuse me, but you can be there, you know, watching it, clipping it up, sending it to parents. Parents can view it. And I wish I had that when I was 14, 15, because I scored a goal in the cup final, but it wasn't recorded, and I can't bring that up as a moment to share in the future. But for us on social media, it's massive. And, you know, I know some county FAs go down that route of goal of the month. And for us, that's maybe something that we explore later this year, alongside some of the other promotion and work that we're doing with Veo. So yeah, I think it's massive, and you know, it's great to see it. You know, some clubs already film it themselves. You know, as Josh mentioned, we go to cup finals and you see the Veo tripod being set up, and you see when people score, they go straight to the camera so they can be on camera. So yeah, it's those magic moments that we want to make sure are captured, and yeah, the cups are a great opportunity to do that.
Thank you very much. I'll move on to Pete. Good morning, Peter. Would you like to just quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Peter Augustine. I'm a coach development officer for the FA. I'm also, surprisingly enough, also a working coach. So I still coach as well as doing stuff, my day job. And that's kind of like me. With regards to video analysis, I think now it's become more and more prevalent and more essential for most clubs, especially if they take their coaching and their player development seriously. Video analysis is a vital tool. I think it's really important that we understand how and what we're videoing and why we're videoing it. So sometimes, you know, you can have a video, and I remember speaking to a club about this once. I said, and they videoed all of their games. And I said, well, what are the trends that you see? And they said, well, we don't know. I said, why is that? They said, we haven't watched the videos back. I said, don't you think that's something you should do? All right. And they said, oh yeah, well, I haven't got time to watch a whole game. I said, you don't need to. What are the bits that you're after from your team? I said, look at that, and then you'll find some stuff. Anyway, they went away, they did that, and I noticed that their results were improving. They weren't doing badly anyway, but their results really improved. And I went back and I saw the coach or the manager, and he said to me, well, actually, what's happened is we found a way of getting the bits that we want clipped, and we've done that, and we've just looked at those, and those have been really important to us, and we've seen some of the stuff that we thought was happening wasn't happening, yada yada yada. So I think understanding that, I think, is really, really crucial around video analysis. Why are you using it? Because if you don't know why that is, sometimes it can be a tool, a bit of a blunt tool, but it is. But if you know what you're doing, it is probably one of the best things that's happening in modern football, especially for coaching.
Thank you, Peter. When did you start using Veo?
Well, I've been using Veo for, let me see, properly for about 3, maybe 4 years. There was a club I was working in their junior section, and they videoed all their games, every game from under 7s right up to under 21s, and even their first team. Obviously, the first team had it all the time. And so what would happen is if you were a coach of that team, you were able to get the footage from that team sometimes. And what I would do is I would also look at the footage of the age group that was below us, because I wanted to see what the players who were coming through the next season, what they look like. And that was really, really, really useful tool for me at that time. And that really helped us to bring players through, because we could see them on a weekly basis, how well they were doing. We didn't have to go out and stand in the cold and watch them. Not that I mind that too much, but it did make things so much easier.
Okay. And how do you find using Veo? Is it straightforward?
Oh yeah, it's really, really easy. Really easy. I think George talked about some of the clipping facility that they have, and with the current club that I'm working at, the other day I remember thinking to myself, why don't we score from corners? And so I just looked at every single corner that we took, and it was already there. I didn't have to go searching for it. So, there we go. It was really, really easy.
Yeah, and on that point, Pete, I think again it's really good to sort of recognise that it's so easy to filter. So again, once you've recorded the match and once it's uploaded, it's so easy to just literally filter through, because that sort of stuck with me with what you just said. I think you can create your own clips. So again, you can go through the footage. We obviously all, but alongside that, before you even start that, because we know that coaches obviously have such limited time with their players in the week, because they're often doing it on a voluntary basis or don't have the time. It's automatically clipped, so each of your corners, each of your shots on goal, every goal that's scored is automatically clipped anyway. So what it allows you to do is very quickly, if you only do have 10 minutes, you just filter that, and then you get through, and you can get almost a snapshot of the game within 5 minutes, and it allows you to then go to your training session and tailor it very easily to that straight away.
Yeah, and that's really, really important for a coach, because even down to session design, your session design will be influenced on what you see on the clips. Because if you're being really, really specific, I mean, and you can get really specific, that's the beauty of it, you can get really, really specific. You can go, right, okay, this is the area of the park I want to work in. This is the kind of the dimensions I think I should be working with my players, because you've got the evidence there for you. And also little things like a player says to you, as you say, well, that player, they run around the back and you didn't see them. They say, well, no, I did see him. I did go with him. I got pushed. You get the clip and you go, have a look at that then. It's a brilliant tool. And that also gets the player on side. Because if the player thinks that you're having a go at them, but you're actually not, you're trying to help them, I think the video clip is really, really important.
I think that's so true. And I think, again, increasingly, especially youth players are visual learners. I think, again, it's very hard to sort of get across what you're trying to do just by words or just by sort of motivation. I think having that sort of visual learning opportunity is so important. And again, I think video analysis has been sort of, I think, traditionally understood as quite an elite level thing. It is in you have to play a certain level to be able to sort of access video analysis, because often you rely on sort of manual cameras. But now, hopefully, through this sort of more affordable, sort of more accessible technology, it means that everyone can do it. And again, I think you mentioned it, Peter, but I think some players, all players are different, aren't they? Some of them sort of want to be motivated. Some of them sort of need their sort of put an arm around their shoulder. I think what this technology allows you to do in both cases is it can show you real life examples of where things have gone well, but equally where things have gone wrong. And so it sort of allows you to sort of completely tailor your approach to coaching, whatever your strategy is or whatever your desired technique is. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you both. So what would you say, Pete, has been an impact on your role in coach development, but also firstly the use of Veo and the impact on your team?
Well, I'll be honest with you, from a point of view of coach development, hasn't been huge yet, but this is something that we've spoken about a lot, about using Veo as a tool that we can use in coach development, because I think that's really, really, really important. That be able to easily look at a coach whilst they're working, and be able to take that footage and share that with the coach. I think we're still a little bit away from that in coach development, and I think we need to be better in that from that point of view. But coaching has had a massive video analysis has a massive impact on coaching right the way through the pyramid, because if you've got a video camera as a coach, you really can't have an excuse for doing poor sessions, because you've got the evidence in front of you for you to be able to say, oh, this is what happened on the Saturday. And I'll be honest with you, from a point of view, when I go to go and observe a coach, one of the things I actually ask them is, do you have a VO? That's almost the first question I ask them. Do you have a VO? All right. And if they say yes, I say, well, how do you use that VO to help you set up your coaching sessions? What do you do with that information? And that question there, for me, is really, really helps me to understand the coach. All right. Because if they have it and they don't use it, my first question was, why wouldn't you use it? You know, what, you know, and then if they don't have it, then you'll know why they don't have it. Maybe they can't afford it, or what have you, or et cetera, et cetera. But I know that even though there are coaches who don't have it, they want to have it. So, you know, that idea around analysis for coaches and for getting that information is massive, because I know that if they go to a club and they have VO, they'll ask them for the footage.
Yeah.
So yeah,
so
it's a big thing. Yeah.
So just finally on that, and something that I've been doing with coach membership and with club membership moving into this season, the information sharing through coach development groups, having that analysis software. How do you think that would help if you get footage shared with you at all, or is that something you're looking to implement this season and into next?
Well, that's something that I'm definitely looking to implement, because what's going to be really, for me, is going to be really important, is instead of coaches just saying, I'm taking my VO to the match, take your VO to training as well, because now you're really going to start to get your value for money. But with your VO camera, why would you only use it once a week when you actually if you train twice a week and you play, you can use it 3 times in the week? You know, that helps you, that helps the players, that helps the coaches. So I think that's something that I definitely would be looking at, saying to our coaches in our coach development groups, how many of you have a VO camera, and are you prepared to share some of your footage with the rest of the group?
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, George. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Aquila. Is there any other thoughts from anyone around this, or just want to wrap that up there?
I just think, final one for me again, I think it's so good to get Peter and Josh's insight. I think often people become desensitized to the idea of video analysis or using sort of technology, because there's almost this barrier where you feel like you won't maximize the use of it. But I think what's really important is that at its most basic level, it's just about nailing those basics, because it is just about getting it up, recording it, practicing. I think everyone gets better through time. I think, again, sometimes you just have to be brave and sort of go forward and try and really sort of engage with it and work with it. And I think, again, Peter mentions training is a really interesting concept, because obviously in the matches it's great because it sort of allows you to do match analysis. But through our cameras, you're able to toggle between ball following and then sort of interactive mode. And what that will allow you to do is, if you put it during a training session, you can sort of jump out and sort of focus on specific elements of the recording that you'd like to. So if you want to look at potentially what your goalkeeper positioning is, or where your back four positioning is in a match, but equally, if you want to focus on one element of the training session and sort of watch that back in depth, you're able to also do that by jumping out. So I think, again, there's lots of different ways you can engage with VO. I think it is sort of understood as a sort of match analysis sort of package. But again, through London FA, through looking at our YouTube channel, which sort of does loads of tutorials. I think there's loads of ways that you can become a lot more familiar with it, and hopefully something that you can sort of really engage with and definitely maximize the use of it. But again, I think those guys have given some really good real life examples of how it can really improve the game, hopefully, and develop the local game in London.
Thank you. Any final thoughts from anyone else? Perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time. That's good analysis. Look forward to hearing more about the partnership with Aquila and George through the London FA, and seeing how Josh and Peter develop their roles, and myself with the coach program this season. Thank you.